So Governor Shumlin, Senator Sanders was on CBS this morning, and they were asking him about why Vermont couldn't get single payer completed. Let's take a listen.
But your own state of Vermont tried that in 2011, and the Democratic governor has said, we can't afford it, and so they rolled it back. Your own state can't even carry it through. How's America going to do it?
Because every other country in the world, in one way or another, does it. I live 100 miles.
Why couldn't Vermont figure it out?
Well, you have to ask the governor for that. I'm not the governor of the state of Vermont.
So we're going to ask you, what is your response to that?
Well, you know, Bernie's right. It's much easier for a country to do it than a state.
What do you think about the senator calling you out, though, on national television?
Well, I don't think he was calling me out. I actually think he's absolutely right. If you could do it like Medicaid and Medicare for all, which is what he's calling for, it's much easier than if the little state of Vermont tries to go it alone. And, you know, we were trying to do what the nation couldn't, but there's no question about it that if you had a president of the United States who actually wants to do Medicare for all, it'd be a lot easier than one state doing it.
You were on the campaign trail yesterday with Hillary Clinton. You've endorsed her over Senator Sanders, but he's leading in the polls in New Hampshire and Iowa. Why do you think that is?
I've always said that Bernie will do very, very well in New Hampshire. We know New Hampshire and Vermont are very close to each other. It's home turf almost.
Right, but he has
Iowa. Iowa is much like Vermont. And, you know, Bernie's going to do well. He's a good candidate. He's making a great case for America. People are ready for a really frank conversation about how we fix income inequality in this nation. My own view is that as we get closer to the election, folks are going to ask a different question. Because Hillary and Bernie and other Democratic candidates tend to agree that the challenge for this president is to make this economy work for every single American, Vermonter, middle class. That's the problem we got. That's why people are so frustrated, the income gap. I think folks are going to ask this close to the election, who is the person that can actually get things done, that's most qualified to bring people together both around domestic economic issues, international issues? I just personally don't believe there's anyone more ready to be president than Hillary.
You're not going to be running for governor again. Are you going to be looking for a job in Washington?
N-O. Full stop. Okay. I love Vermont. I want to live here. And, you know, as you know, this is where I was born and raised. This is where I want to live.
And let's talk about your time left as governor. What are you going to do this year to make Vermont more affordable?
Well, you know, we're making real progress there. And I know it's frustrating that it's not faster, but we now have one of the lowest unemployment rates in America. We're actually starting to see some income growth in this state, although it's slower than we all wish. And we're continuing to find ways to not only grow more jobs, but get more folks beyond high school so that they can be trained to do the work we do. You know, Gina, the difference between when I became governor and now is that when I came in, business owners were saying to me, I'm going to do a layoff. Things are tough. Things are slow. Now they say, Gov, find me more employees and we can keep growing. So it's a better problem to have, but it's a real problem. Employers constantly say to me, I can't find the workers to do the work. That's a sea change. That means we've made lots of smart decisions, but we do have to find ways to get more folks in this state beyond high school to do the jobs of the 21st century that we've got right here, good paying jobs in Vermont.
What are your top priorities for your last year in the legislature?
Balance the budget, make sure that we continue to make more progress on ensuring that our education system serves everybody, not just those that were born with mountains of opportunity or who are going to automatically go to college. Make sure that we continue to reduce healthcare costs and make progress moving our healthcare system to be more affordable, because that will eat us alive if we don't get those costs under control. Suppresses job growth, hurts Vermonters who are trying to put money in their pockets because premiums go up faster, we can keep up. And then we've got to continue to make progress on renewable energy. And, you know, we're doing well there. Vermonters' electric rates, the only state in the region where electric rates have gone down for the last 3 years. The other states around us have seen theirs go up. We now have the second lowest rates in the region. It's because we're building out renewables. It's because we're being smart about energy efficiency. And so I want to do some more work there. And I also very much want to make sure that we leave this state in strong fiscal position to have a bright economic future.
Are you going to support legalizing recreational marijuana this year?
You know, I have a strong bias towards legalization of marijuana, and I say that for two reasons. The first is, my belief is that if we got marijuana out of the hands of dealers, you can buy marijuana in Vermont right now. Let's not be naive. So it's not a question of whether we have marijuana in Vermont or that we don't. It's a question of how we distribute it. Right now, we have a system that allows allows dealers to deal to kids. They don't care how old you are. They don't care what's in the bag. They'll just get it to you. You give them the money. I think, much like alcohol, that we'd be smart to move to a regulated model where we try to keep it out of the hands of kids, where we try to make sure people don't smoke the stuff and drive their car, where we actually regulate the system, much like we do with alcohol. So I would like to see us do that. The question is, have we learned enough from Colorado, Washington State, those that went before us, to be able to say, hey, we figured out what they're doing wrong. I can tell you a couple of things I'm sure they're doing wrong, but I want to make sure that we've got the information we need so that Vermont really gets this right.
So you would think about supporting it?
Absolutely, I do support it.
But there's a change for you in the last few months.
Not really. I've always said my bias is strongly towards legalization, but let's make sure that the good states of Colorado and Washington State that were kind enough to go first, we can learn from their mistakes, learn from their lessons before we go ahead. And the question is, when is the right time? We've got to figure that out soon.
Let's talk about the next governor. Who are you going to endorse?
Well, I'm not. I'm going to let the primary happen on the Democratic side. There's a primary on the Republican side. We've got good candidates running, and Vermonters are perfectly capable of making their minds up about who should be the nominees without my help. But the good news is that when we get through this primary process, obviously I'll work for the Democratic nominee and work very hard for them.
House Speaker Shap Smith is running for governor. Do you think he can still run this campaign and still be an effective speaker?
Absolutely. Listen, I ran for governor as president pro tem of the Senate. Shap is a very capable speaker and can run. He can juggle two balls at once, just like Phil Scott, the lieutenant governor, can be lieutenant governor. And, I mean, this is a little bit silly conversation we're having. If you have to quit your job to run for office, in other words, drop out of the job that you were hired to do, you got to ask the question, what kind of candidate are you? If you can't finish the job we hired you for, why would we hire you for a new one? Sue Minter's a little bit different in the respect that we have very clear policies in state government, and she was a great Secretary of Transportation, has done great things as the Irene Recovery Officer. But we have very clear conflict of interest policies in the executive branch of government that if you run for office, if you're a candidate for office, you can't serve in the executive branch. So slightly different rules. And it's different than being elected by your constituents, as Shap has been, to serve in the House.
Vermont State Trooper Kyle Young died yesterday. You were out of state. Is it difficult to not be around when something like that happens?
Well, I was only out of state for an hour and a half, but I got the word immediately. Listen, I've spoken with, this is a huge tragedy. When we lose a trooper, it's just heartbreaking because these are folks that put their lives on the line so the rest of us can be safe. And in this case, I've spoken with his partner, Alyssa, the mother of his daughter. I just got off the phone with his mom and his dad. It's just absolutely devastating and a huge loss to all of us. So my heart goes out, I know, along with the rest of Vermonters, to his kids, to his partner, to his family, and it's just really tough stuff.
You announced yesterday that you are engaged to your girlfriend, Katie Hunt. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a lucky guy.
What's the reaction been from Vermonters?
They seem happy about it. We actually got engaged about 3 months ago. Katie, probably like most Vermonters, her nightmare is to be noticed. It's not like a politician that gets used to it. She doesn't want to be on front pages. She's just not, she's a Vermonter. And so I didn't talk much about it, except to tell our close friends. I said to her, when it gets out, I don't think it'll be that big a deal. So I don't know if she's going to be mad at me tonight, because it was on a lot of newspapers. But we're hoping for the best. But listen, I am so lucky. We love this state, we love each other, and it's a great partnership.
Why did you choose to announce it yesterday?
We didn't. The press called and asked. We heard the governor got engaged.
Any kids in your future?
I have 2 beautiful daughters.
Any more?
That's up to Katie.
Okay. Governor
I'm
Peter
game for everything.
All right, there we go. Thanks so much for chatting with us.
Thanks for having me.
Congrats to them.
Absolutely. And Monday on the 30, catching hidden sugars before they make it into your home. Dietitian Kim Evans will join us, talk about the different forms of sugar and identifying some hidden sources. The average adult consumes 22 teaspoons of sugar a day.